Wells only and his guests are not responsible for any losses you may accrue for having weak hands. Where the haters at? Y'all bitches still ain't showed up. And now, right, we got Hex, flawless uptime. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. It's lullaby music, really, right? It's hard to believe that something like this exists. I get it, but you just gotta come to terms with reality. It just exists. Nothing we can do about it. Buy a steak and chill, baby. Shout out to Marketable Thoughts. You can't get this kind of shit for free anywhere else. It's very important to understand that. We're handing it out. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. So much luck, once again, because the facts don't give a fuck. Peace. This is Wells Only. Glad you guys can make it out. I'm making some claims that are pretty outlandish, but I can back them up. Boom. End of story. There is no other crypto out there, so don't get it twisted. If you don't understand where you're parking your money, you're gonna pay the consequences for that, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Boom. We're obliterating everybody, literally. There is nobody else that comes close to what Hex has done. Boom. Oh, it's about to get funky. Funkier than you could have ever imagined. You know, Richard Hart is a boss. Hex is literally the best thing on the planet. It's simple mathematics. What's up, folks? A happy Wednesday to everyone. I hope everybody's enjoying the show, and I don't mean mine, but the one that is politics, because it's like I've been telling you guys for a while, shit ain't real. And if you are not convinced yet, then don't worry, there's more coming to convince you. You know, look at how quickly the commies just flipped. You know, you gotta catch that, right? That right there. I mean, just anywhere on social media, it's like they didn't hate this Kamala chick 2 days ago. You know what I mean? Like literally 48 hours ago, you know, all these people were pro Biden and they hated Kamala. Now all of a sudden, you know, everything's done switched. Boom, like magic. The media, everything. How do you beat that? Right? These are things you guys got to think about as the tables turn, because they're turning. You know, they're turning. Um, you know, the question is, are they turning for you? You know, and it's like we've talked about numerous times before. If you're not engaging, then of course you're winning, right? It's really simple. But if you're not aware of that simplicity and you make yourself party to the nonsense unwillingly, right? You consent unknowingly just because you think instead of thinking. I don't know if that makes sense. But the point is that you have to know your basic rights, know what is okay of someone else to ask of you and what's not okay. A million reasons to do a million things. Question should always be why. right? Because, pretty soon everybody's ID is going to have to be digital. Everything is going digital, and this is why you need to understand what cryptocurrency is because they've already co opted it. I told you guys this years ago. They've co opted Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of that. It's no longer what you thought it was. And that's critical because if you're not in the right place at the right time, you will be stuck like Chuck. You will be stuck like Chuck. And I'm not sure that you're going to want to be in that position because, as I've told you guys before, the ultimate objective is for everything to be digital. So it's just controlled by somebody, beyond an arm's length distance from you, in another freaking country if possible, so that you don't have any access or ability to control or dominate or determine anything. It's all determined for you, right? And we're really speeding into that era. The further things go, the more the system is complacent. I don't honestly know what's gonna happen when people realize that what's happened has happened. And what I mean is that, it's when you think about all these industries that are making these things happen, it's regular people behind these screens doing the dirt. They don't understand what they're doing. In fact, majority of them might not have a clue because the average person is just not aware of anything. And in these big organizations that are the ones leading the charge in all the changing of society in all these different ways, um, these institutions they literally fragment everything such that you're doing one piece of the same thing, somebody else is doing another piece of the same thing, right? And of course, the bigger and smaller doesn't, the size doesn't matter. They're trying to break that process down so you can't see, right? Because then you can easily go and replicate the business process yourself as an individual, and they don't want that. They want complete autonomy over you, the employee, and the business process. Now, it really, really seems more and more like there's more to what's going on because, we know Trump works for the Jews too. And Harris and Biden and them do too, right? So it's two separate. Hold on, guys. All right, that should be enough. It seems to be two separate factions of the same fabric, like fighting each other, or at least they want to make it look that way so that people are at each other's necks. Because that's definitely what it looks like so far. I mean, all these commies all of a sudden trying to pretend like they know how to think like we've been thinking for the past 25 years. It was nothing funnier than watching these commies talk about the Trump people orchestrated the assassination of Trump. That was funny. That's comical because it's these are people that are just that oblivious. They just repeating whatever they're being told to repeat. So I don't know, man. But truth be told, what I do know is that with all these bodies populating the earth, there is no way to corral the situation in such a way that it doesn't turn into a mess. There is no way that that doesn't happen because it's too easy to manipulate people. And I think as a normal person, I personally really underestimated how easy that is. And I think that if you find yourself in my camp, just a regular person, just trying to live and noticing all the craziness, then, you probably underestimated how easy it is to be manipulated by others as well. I mean, I really, growing up in the inner city and letting the environment dictate your norms and stuff like that and not what you're really comfortable with. Like I'm familiar with being manipulated as well. So I'm not trying to pretend like I'm a I'm better than or anything like that. Of course, we're all manipulated to a certain extent, but you have to come to the realization at some point, that you are being manipulated, right? Like I'm not still out here fucking doing crazy shit. So I decided to stop being manipulated, right? And that's the thing that people doing crazy things don't understand. And I was having a conversation about this literally minutes ago where, you try to get how do you get somebody to care about others, right? And this sounds crazy, but fact is that a person can't care about somebody else because they can't care about themselves. They don't have the parameters in their frame of mind to realize somebody else is getting fucked over to some degree. They're not thinking about that because they're never going to get fucked. That's their frame of mind. They can't get fucked. So who gives a fuck about somebody else? Now, we got about 100 days. What is this? All of August, September, October, right? July has, let's see here. Never mind July. July is over. We got 31 days in August, 61 including September, 92 including October. So about 110 days, 115 days left for anything and everything to happen. They already they messed with the airlines already. Uh, you know, uh, understand that it's about goading you into something you don't want to do or something that doesn't make sense, right? So have a good solid grasp of that because the CBDC is right around the corner, right? Everybody thought Bitcoin was going to be 100,000 by now, but nah, right? And we talked about all the reasons why long ago. Uh, Institutions control it now, right? So it's no longer going to tick at the clock of math. So all those models that worked for the last 15 years, they're probably not going to really work anymore. If anything, if anything, they'll maintain prices within certain respectable ranges so that the models still somewhat apply, but expectations will not be met. Like that's just not going to happen. Because at the end of the day, the goal is for you to have none. So, the goal is for you to have no control. Now all of a sudden, in the US, in the political stage, crypto is relevant. All of a sudden, it literally wasn't 30 days ago. I mean, these are the things that they're important to keep at the forefront of the manipulation scale, because again, the moves that you make matter now, not later. Later on, it's too late. So you guys got to realize how they're using businesses to impose all this unlawful stuff, right? And that's ultimately how they're able to get away with all their criminality, is by tricking people into breaking the law and them not even knowing it. Because that's exactly how Rona happened. All these corporations are going to tell their employees what to do. Their employees are ignorant people. They don't know anything. So they're going to say yes, yes sir, no sir, whatever. Yes ma'am, no ma'am, whatever. And they're going to do what they're told, right? Just like the cops do. And people think they're so different, which is what's funny. But everybody's out here failing their Stanford experiment like a motherfucker. Everybody. Simple. That's what's really happening. Because this is already basic psychology. Everybody knows this already, right? If you've been around the block and you study humans a little bit, then you know if you give human the room to be a dictatorial piece of shit, apparently they will be. I don't know. Apparently that's the case. Uh, I don't know what the deal is with that, but that's the story. And it seems to be the case because no matter where you look, that's the view that we get. So, not really sure if there's a solution to that. I don't really know. I don't know if it's because of how we're raised or whatever. An American thing. Because that was an American study. I'm not sure if that would. I don't know if it would work in Europe or anywhere else. Eastern Europe probably, but Western Europe, I don't know. Maybe nowadays, probably. Now that all the commies know they can run amok. But yeah, I don't know about back in the day, right? But that there is a reality, right? And we see it all the time, right? If you're employed at some business, right? When somebody at that business does something to mess up the business reputation, everybody got to pay the price, not just that person, because the business is going to impose those CYA policies, right? Those cover your ass policies. They're not going to care that you're a good person, that you've never been in trouble, that you don't do no crazy shit, that you just did do your damn job, whatever the case is, right? They're not going to care about that. They're going to ram that DEI bullshit down your throat, all of it, and include it wherever possible. That's what they do, man. So these are the things you guys. It's up to you. How that goes down. It's not up to somebody else. That's the big lie, right? Because at the end of the day, they're gonna make it up as they go along. So you gotta stand firm. Literally is what they do. I mean, they've been trying the same thing for years. When you sit there and look back at history, this is all stuff they've been doing on repeat. It ain't even nothing new. So, it's really all on people standing firm and not cowering over the nonsense, really. Because that's all it really boils down to, man. That's why it's been so hard for them to push any of it, right? It's all Ridiculous nonsense. You know, when you hear them tires screeching in the background, you never know if it's an accident that's about to happen or somebody just messing around. Woo, too funny. But yeah, uh, it's getting wild out there, folks. Make sure you understand that you know there is no benefit for you to join that game, right? I mean, look at this. This is ridiculous. A headline: CrowdStrike, the cybersecurity firm that crashed millions of computers with a botched update all over the world last week, is offering its partners a $10 Uber Eats gift card as an apology, per TechCrunch. And this is a tweet from Unusual Whales, and this is how they're fixing their problems nowadays: screwing you over and giving you a freebie. I mean, that was a real thing. That was not fake. That was real. That was real. That was real. That was real. I mean, that's crazy. That's extremely disrespectful. Because, you know, if anybody's worked in software before, then you know that they do all types of testing before they let any of those security patches go public. Period. You know, they're not just pissing in the wind because it's crazy to do that. So obviously, it's not just something they do. So where where are they getting this idea from, right? Because it worked for Rona. Why not keep using it? I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Just just wild. Just wild. Because you know, everybody isn't crazy. There's only some people that are crazy. But everybody's now gonna get treated like they're crazy. And that's the catch. You know, when you look at businesses and how they operate, they already downgraded whatever you can expect, like across the board, right? Like that's just basic already nowadays. And that's insane because it was never like that. Like businesses would do their best to ensure they weren't going to lose business. But nowadays, it's like that doesn't even matter anymore in most cases. I don't know if it was a Rona thing or what, but that's just what I see. Um, yeah, it's real out there, man. You know, I mean that's a headline from today. They out here giving people $10 in Uber Eats money for all manner of inconveniences because everything is digital. Everything is digital. Now, a related headline, just because this is funny. Uh, Apparently, I don't know whose report this is, but there's talk of DI being a potential cause for the CrowdStrike debacle. I mean, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just all comical. At this point, You got the same people that support these DEI policies, hook or crook, acting like what just happened didn't happen, you know, politically speaking. Like whatever you thought you voted for or whatever you thought you were gonna get was just taken from you. And these people are acting like that's not what just happened. Crazy. But yeah, that just happened. And people are acting like it didn't. I mean, that's wild if you ask me. Because what's all this voting talk, right? That's what voting is for. At least that's what they say it's for. Right? But now you got the chickens clucking like nothing even happened. I mean, really take a good look at that. Cause that is crazy. That to me is the craziest thing out of all of this. Is how easily turned these people are. I mean, they don't give a rat's ass. A lot of people are just out here clucking. Really, that's it. Clucking. And it's important to be aware of that when you're talking to these people. Because these people, you really can't talk to them. You can't speak sense into the wind, you know? Like, these people are not trying to work with you. They want you to submit, and that's it. And I think that people don't realize that, whatever position you take, when you're dealing with an extreme person, they just want you to submit. There's no conversation being had. And, on both sides of the aisle, these extreme people got to be dealt with. We don't need that. All extremes need to just disappear. Nobody needs that. At the end of the day, everybody just wants to relax and chill and do whatever they're doing. But other people make it about everything else, and people get swept up in that. That's how these things happen. It's like when you see people running. What are you gonna do? You're gonna run. I'm not gonna ask no fucking questions. You are gone with the wind, and that's that. And that's science, literally, because we still do it to this day. That's how we're programmed. So I don't know. I don't know if they're using that in some way we can't see, like flanking, right? Some type of flank operation. Because the way these people turned, I'm just shocked by it. Shocked. And then what's even funnier is the Secret Service chief um, resigning because she missed. I mean, come on, we all know that's the why. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. We all know that's the why. So yeah, yeah. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy how wide open all this craziness is, and we're supposed to act like it's not crazy. Well, if you look at how things are working, I would guess my best guess is that that was either, and I don't know, it could have easily been faked because they know people are at home doing nothing but watching everything that they're doing. Because then that chick that was right there in the middle was super obvious. So, you could have said, you could easily make the case for the left wanting to actually kill this guy. You could easily make the case for this being all fugazi. You can easily make any case because it's all TV, and that's ultimately the problem. You can't really, all you can bank on is that it's fake, 100%, and that it's meant to divide people. That's what you can bank on, for sure. Because if anything's happened, is that people are definitely more polarized by politics than ever before. And again, it's like I was just saying, they don't want a conversation. They want to submit. They want people to submit. Yeah, this is what I'm going with basically as well. I'm going with bankers trying to start something uncivil until proven otherwise. Yep, that's typically how it works. Because again, who benefits from that? We don't. Nothing ever happens for us to benefit magically. Everything is for it to get worse. So, thanks for the super chat, bro. Yeah. How's my V2 liquidity pool analogy of left and right being sloshed around and people think they winning or they're winning working out? Yeah. Yep. People just do not learn. So, yeah, one of those things where I don't know, man, but one thing I can say is that a lot of people are just here to be here. They're not really participating. And that's important to understand because that's a big chunk of people. And they are a big reason that everything is how it is. Because these are the people these are the do nothings. These are the ones that help these weirdos play their game. These are the perfect pawns. So you guys probably know this, but today this guy from Jutopia is coming to speak to the U.S. Congress. Think about that for a second. How often do you, the person that pays their salary, get a seat with your congressman? How often do they listen to you? Do they give a fuck to listen to you? Probably not. But I bet you that room is at least 50 to 66% full. Not empty, but full. And if you haven't figured it out haven't figured out why by now yet, then you're just not paying attention. Because it's super duper obvious. It's sad how obvious it is. And people pretend it's not. How are you a fragment of the population, but you're in control of everything? Oh, man. So, it's obvious stuff like that just becomes ridiculous. And, you can't beat other people's brains into working, right? Like, these are the things that's important to understand. You can't force somebody to learn something. They're just going to go with it. They're just gonna go with it, and that's super critical for you to understand as an individual. Because at the end of the day, we don't know what's coming. Like, but they're trying to make everything super difficult. Look at how most businesses, online businesses, operate. Just getting customer service is a fucking, depending on the business, it can be a multi-hour process, multi-day process. That wasn't the case before. You can just call a motherfucker up. You can't call nobody anymore. And they claim that things are more efficient now. Are they really? Nah, not really. What's happened is now they've replaced people with the idea of this automated processes, which aren't automated because all they've done is scale their capacity to deal with people back, because they have these slow automated processes now replacing people. They're not actually good processes. So, if they were, well, it wouldn't take hours or days to get a reply back from a business, relative to what it used to take, which was maybe an hour if it was, crazy wait times, or 2 hours if it was crazy wait times. But that's no longer the case. And I know I'm not the only one seeing this stuff. I mean, you go outside, you buy stuff, you're going to see it. Buy stuff online, got to deal with a return or some shit like that. I mean, some mishap, any mishap, misaddressed package or whatever, you're going to see it. Getting a delivery, whatever the case is, you're going to see it. And people are just not, I don't know if people are just fed up with society, or then they're just acting it out and not saying it, or what. But that's definitely what it seems like. Because people are very mm, seemingly disenfranchised. That's what they seem like. Seem very disenfranchised. And I don't know if it's because of being locked up in their houses for 3 years or whatever. Because that'll mess with your head. And some people aren't used to that type of stuff. So they don't know, how they're gonna react to it and stuff like that. But they have, man, and we're seeing the side effects of all of that. It's funny now you mentioned Jesus in the chat. The people in control of everything are the same people that killed Jesus, which they apparently don't believe in, but yet we do. Us people on this side of the line or whatever, and yet we let these motherfuckers control everything. Explain that one. Where's the logic there? And then you can't talk about them? Like what? Yeah, you can. Fuck out of here. Talk about whoever the fuck I want. But that's how this is working. Things you got to be aware of, because all you have to do is not comply. It's that simple, because everything is fake. If it was easy and you could, just move your ass out into the woods and fucking live off the land. I mean, all this shit is doable. You just gotta be willing to do it. If you want the tech and to be connected to the pop world and all of that, obviously not what you should be doing. So, real basic stuff. Not rocket science by any means, but uh, not what people typically aspire to doing because that doesn't increase your dopamine levels. That's the funny thing about it. It's not what makes you feel good, but it is what's good for you. So it's one of those weird things where people put themselves in these positions. I mean, it's just like when you look at all the people that are now stuck in China because they didn't get or stuck in Beijing or whatever major city in China because they didn't get there early enough to make the big money. I bet they wish they would have never left a little rural heaven, which is what life is compared to a poor ass existence in an urban environment. Because guess what? Ain't no food just there. You can snatch and eat. It's just it's not a thing. So yeah, yeah, that convenience shit is definitely the killer, and a lot of people are gonna die for that. I mean, that's exactly why people were what do you call it? Hell bent on getting them death jabs with Rona one, right? Because that they wanted to travel and all of that. Remember that? That's what that was about. So yeah, people want that convenience factor. They get tricked by it, and man, do they not realize that there are limits to that? Boy, because that definitely does play a part. Again, and hitting those dopamine levels, right? That's what it's about, man. And these guys know how to play the fiddle, and by fiddle, I mean they know how to manipulate humans. So that's that. Those are things you guys got to be aware of when you're watching TV, when you're feeling yourself getting emotional for any reason whatsoever. Because there's nothing wrong with being entertained. Because what the fuck else are we gonna do? No, it's not like we're gonna go out there and fight by ourselves. Um, so just remember that don't buy into none of the propaganda because that's really the key, right? The key to freedom and sovereign autonomy is not buying into none of this nonsense. Understanding is super fake. Understanding is mostly comedy more than anything else. Cause as I sit here and watch these chicken heads, cluck cluck cluck, wow, I can't believe. I honestly cannot believe how easy it was for these people to turn the whole crowd in their favor, even though it was clearly something the crowd did not want. Like, wow, nobody wanted Kamala ever. But now they're gonna shove her down everybody's throats, and them guys just gotta deal with it. That's pretty much how that's going down, and voila. I don't know, like that's just how it's going down, and for people that are about placating political processes, like what about the correct one? It's funny, man. It's funny. It's funny. It's funny. And they're just gonna make excuses to justify their further cowardice and placation. It's just more of the same, right? So it's important to understand that. Important to understand what exactly is going on, because you don't want to get swept up in none of the nonsense. At the end of the day, people are gonna do what people are gonna do because everybody likes to be living the story that they see, right? And that's really the best way to put it. So, don't get caught slipping, right? Don't get caught getting sucked into that into that craziness. Um, Stay true to yourself, right? And if you don't know who you are, figure it out. But just understand that there's so much propaganda out there in all forms, music, entertainment, everything, that you have to be aware of what's true, what's not, because you are going to pay the price. Your kids are going to pay the price. I mean, everybody's going to pay the price if somebody isn't aware. Um, and that's pretty much what it boils down to at the end of the day. We can sit here and dissect the headlines all day, and we know we do that on a regular basis. And what's the net? The net is that they're going to continue to manipulate the system as best as they see fit. I mean, look at the stock market, right? That thing ran and ran and ran, and then lately you just can't get it to get up. Right? It's been going down to sideways since July 1st or 2nd, I think. And I think I streamed back then. Let me see, July 10th. I'm usually pretty on point with that, uh, as far as when it is that I stream and whatnot. Let's see. I don't know why or how it just happens that way. Yep, July 12th. There you go. That was I had streamed then. And the idea is just to understand what is going on and why the flows are flowing the way that they're flowing. Right? Because at the end of the day, everybody just trying to make some extra change, right? And as you guys know, I don't really do the crapto or crapto. That's actually a good one. Crapto instead of crypto. Crapto. Um, Look at that. The king of Jutopia is addressing Congress, but they won't even reply to you, and you pay their salaries. See what I'm saying? Like, these are the things you need to be thinking about. Like, this is how this system apparently works. And I gotta say that's not it working as far as I'm concerned, because I didn't even agree to participate in that. I don't like the way it's structured. I don't like the way it works, so I don't want to participate in it. Pretty simple. But you don't have that option. See, not something you can do. You just gotta deal with it. So enjoy. Because that's all we get. We don't get to pick and choose. We just get to enjoy it. As funny as that is. Um, as you guys know, my stance on crypto is pretty staunch, pretty stiff, pretty standard, in the sense that it's very by the book. And that's because I don't like getting caught in traps. I like things to be as they are. And shoot, there's no better way to put it. Uh, there's something to be said for eating fruit that's fruit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why people are so into all this fake. Like, you know, I like real. I don't grab on the plastic. I want that real good. I don't want the fake Gucci. Give me the real Gucci. Whatever works for you, for you. Uh, so think about it this way, right? When you're putting gas in a car, you got to put gasoline at a minimum. Very basic gasoline. Don't get caught slipping out here putting, I don't know, sugar in the tank because it's gonna blow it up, right? Like, you're not gonna have an engine after that. So everything in life is kind of like that, but across time things get blurred. Don't let yourself get swayed by the blurriness, right? Like the dudes wearing dresses and stuff like that, and fingernail polish. Like that's not for dudes. So don't get caught slipping and end up doing that. Like them dudes are getting paid for that. You not. You're not getting paid for that. So you should not do that at all, ever. Like that's not for you. Don't wear skirts that look like pants or none of that. Don't do it. Cause yeah, it's not gonna work out for you. Not at all. So yeah. But yeah, man. The headlines are crazy. These people have switched. I mean, they're the epitome of sheep. Bricks seems to be a thing. I'm still waiting to see um, exactly how it goes, where it goes. Oh shit. Um, Damn it. I hope that shit is how it goes, where it goes, and because again, we got to use this information to do what we got to do to survive in this here show. So I'm doing my part too, right, so to speak. Give me a second, guys. 2.7. Two, 718. All right. So yeah, you got to just know when to draw the line for yourself, right? Because again, at this point, moving forward, is more about how you control the situation versus about whatever they're doing, because they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do, right? So you got to do what's best for you, and everything else be damned. Because there's always gonna be a reason for somebody else to get preference over you. But what about you? Right? What about your family? What about your future? What about your this? What about your that? Um, I don't know. Like when you sit here and you look at that Secret Service thing, like that failure was an obvious, duh. Like that was orchestrated, obviously, So you got to realize when you're being played. I don't know if anybody lives in Spain can confirm this, but apparently people are just getting their houses taken over in Spain. I don't know what to make of that, but apparently that's what's going on. Yeah. So yeah, just I think the biggest development that I wanted to talk about today was just how manipulated people are. How important it is for you to be aware of that, and how critical it is for you to learn how to deal with that, right? Because these are people that they're like robots. They're like zombies. They're just getting turned and programmed whichever way master deems fit. So you have to be full and well aware of that, so that you're dealing with whoever your cycle is accordingly. Because they're all out there. You can't escape them. These people aren't. They taking the information in from the TV. Like they're not thinking. So you got to do the thinking, and put them in their place and whatever have you. Because man, they are something else if you let them. And that's what's important to understand. You can't let them. Definitely be logical. Don't don't try to speak logic to them. Be logical. Their problem is not your problem. Stuff like that. Because people are entitled, man. They don't understand when that problems happen sometimes and stuff like that. Yeah, Ireland too. Yeah, Ireland's another place where a lot of stuff is going down. Um, and I don't think you're gonna see anything in media about any of these places because we're talking about criminal organizations at this point. Like you guys need to understand that these are criminal organizations that have instituted false dogma on people so that they abide by whatever these gangsters want them to abide by. Very, very plain to see. I mean, I discovered that during colonial times, and you're not going to know that, I didn't know this. Um, the Jews would use Spanish last names as cover. And I knew that they had came over to this side of the world as a specific type of Jew from Spain because of the Moor Wars and all that. I just never connected those dots like that. But of course, now everything makes so much more sense, right? They've been here. No wonder everything is a mess. And there's a mess going back, right? So, don't have any heroes. Do your due diligence. Stop thinking somebody's going to save you because ain't nobody going to save you. Nobody's going to save you. Nah. You can let that ship sail. You got to get it. You got to really be ready, willing, and able to get it in because you don't know what's coming. And that's really all it boils down to. Because look, I'm telling you guys from personal experience. When you're in the service and you're training, you're just training. You don't know what you're training for. You're going to be lied to 99% of the time. So if one day a bunch of military people just come and attack you, they're not going to know who you are 99% of the time. Never mind the fact we're in the U.S. You don't know what they're being told is my point. Because now they got all these criminal migrants in here, right? And guess what? They look like all of us. 1 + 1 = 2, my friends. Understand when you're getting played, right? Because at the end of the day, who's going to benefit from the cycle? The cycle. People in the military, they don't know no better. They're just following orders. They don't know that they're following unlawful orders. They don't know that the people that they're attacking are actually U.S. citizens, and they might not know until way after many of us are dead, assuming they're given some order of that magnitude. See the crazy? So, I don't know, man. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of the fact that these politicians don't give a shit. They really don't. Um, that's probably the most important thing. And that's pretty much why everything is on the table. I mean, they literally did House of Cards. I never in my life thought I would see that, but seen it in real time. No questions asked. I mean, damn, they really did it. Like it was nothing. No, and not a single Democrat questions it. Don't you dare question it. Don't you dare question it. Those are the things you gotta be aware of, guys. Because at the end of the day, I don't know where this is gonna go, and that's the problem. There is no clarity. Yo, that's funny. Well, I work out, so I don't know about you, bro. But that's funny. Oh man, yeah, it's quite something to be living through. I don't know, what the end result is going to be, right? Nobody does, but we do know that games are being played, and people should be aware of the games being played. Um, Not rocket science, right? So I don't know. Um, I think a lot of things. I don't like to keep a rolling tab of all the different things that pop up. However, do yourself the favor and you know be fit, be in shape, do things that are good for your well-being, and eat right because that makes all the difference. Trust me. Even if you eat fast food, eat the right fast food, like real food, like stuff that has to be made. Like there is fast food that has to be pre-made before they can sell it. Think pizza. Like that's like the best fast food, the best worst fast food, or the worst best fast food you can eat, or whatever. That passes because it's at least yeast. Though, assuming you got a real pizza restaurant. Not talking about. I don't know if Papa John's uses like real ingredients and Domino's and all of them. I don't know. I'm not speaking to them. I don't. I'm only speaking to real pizzerias. So if you live outside of New York and New Jersey, Connecticut area, I don't know. I do not know. Do a Google search. I don't know. But and everybody else, you know what I'm talking about. It's real pizza. It's real food. So you eat your meat, your steak, your chicken, all of that salmon. Your what's the word? I don't know it in English, but I guess you guys would know them as starches. I don't really know what the word is in English, but it's like potatoes, plantains, and that kind of stuff. Sweet potatoes. Eat all that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff. Number one is cheap. Number two is filling. Number three is good for you. Once I changed my diet, my cost of consumption decreased significantly because I was no longer buying the processed shit. Because that's where they make tons of money. They make tons of money off the processed shit. So all you gotta do is steer clear. And I think the the standard is everything on the outside aisles and nothing in the in between aisles. And what's funny is that until somebody I heard somebody say that, I never really thought about it, but I never really buy anything in the inside aisles. Like it's very rare. Like they might have rice there, but it's just the small bags of rice because I'm not buying the big old bags of rice that are on the outside aisles because they're huge and need more space to be put on a shelf or whatever. So they put them on the end caps or the inside of the store, whatever the case is. So it's stuff like that. You gotta be aware, man. You gotta be aware. When I like my body knows when it eats some foreign substance that don't belong in my system. Like I automatically know. I feel it in my stomach right away. As soon as it gets there, boom, I'll automatically know because it doesn't belong. So, 1 plus 1 is 2. And these are the kinds of things you really got to be doing because you don't know. You really don't know. And you don't want to get caught slipping to the point that you don't know. You do want to know, right? And you want to know yourself in case anything goes left. Because what you don't want is for stuff to go left and you not know what you need to know to get out of it. Trust me, you don't want that because that is not a good experience. Not at all. So, be careful with these headlines, guys. They're good to know as far as just what they might or might not be planning. And if you've been following me for a while, we already got the roadmap laid out. So there's not much for us to really synthesize over. As far as crypto goes, you guys know where I stand with that. There's not much to talk about there. Do the dip buying. Do the farming. Use the system as it was designed. That's what it was for. It's not for all this other crap that people are doing. So, don't get caught slipping. Focus your money accordingly. And, don't fall into these traps, into these ridiculous traps where people are just, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but just don't fall into these traps, man. Because, even in social media now, you got to be real careful because there's so many bots. Right? So many bots. Doesn't even make sense. Look at this. Headline just dropped from Utopia's King. Gaza protesters are Iran's useful idiots. And the Iran useful idiots parts is quoted. I mean, this is the stuff I'm talking about, guys. Like, that's just pure gaslighting right there. Because, A, it makes no sense to be over here protesting about that. Because the U.S. is going to act like it has nothing to do with it. Which is perfect for them, which is exactly why Utopia's King is here. Because the U.S. has nothing to do with it. I mean, it's pure comedy. It really is. And this is the stuff you got to realize. Be mindful of what you guys are consuming out there, guys. I'll try to stream more somewhat frequently. But, just keep your head and eyes, where they belong. And don't be fooled by ridiculousness. It's crazy out there. Peace out, guys. This is Wales Only. Glad you guys can make it out. I'm making some claims that are pretty outlandish, but I can back them up. Boom. End of story. There is no other crypto out there, so don't get it twisted. If you don't understand where you're parking your money, you're going to pay the consequences for that, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Boom. We're obliterating everybody. Literally. There is nobody else that comes close to what Hex has done. Boom. Oh, it's about to get funky. Funkier than you could have ever imagined. Richard Hart is a boss. Hex is literally the best thing on the planet. It's simple mathematics.